Uganda. And that gives away the country we're visiting this afternoon. We're checking out Uganda. And I've read so much online. Hopefully she will be able to put some truth to it for me. And of course, share even a bit more on what we probably would not find online. Hi, Babarita.
Hi.
Good to have you in the studio.
Thank you for having me here.
I couldn't help but notice your necklace, which has just sparked a whole different conversation as well. So if you guys can see it on social media, Babarita is wearing a necklace that has a seashell, and what's the other? Are they both seashells?
No.
What's the other thing?
Can you try and figure it?
Could you turn it the other way around? The other way. No.
Wait.
The other side is greener. Oh, okay. This is difficult. A piece of wood carving?
Not really. I can't really tell because this was a friend of mine who went to Senegal, and then she had like 2 pieces. I think like 4. So I made like earrings and then added to this. So I didn't know what it is.
You didn't ask her what it was?
She told me, but I think I forgot.
You think you forgot to?
Yeah.
Okay, but the other one, definitely we all know it's seashells.
Yeah, it's seashell.
That's very creative of you.
Yeah.
I mean, it explains why you're a fashion designer, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, fashion designing brought you to Ghana, or what brought you to Ghana?
So basically, I love Africa in general. You know, Africa is a continent that has a lot of different countries like in it. So Ghana was one of those countries I wanted to be in because of the pioneers like the Kwame Nkrumah, the Kofi Annan and stuff like that. So hearing all those people coming from Ghana and also people talking about good things, like
and these
Ghana.
are things you heard back home.
These are things I had back home.
Okay.
So in Uganda, Nigeria is more popular.
Oh,
right now,
okay.
Ghana is coming up. But when I was growing up, Ghana was not that popular. Okay, even though it had these these pioneers who were really done great job in Ghana. When it comes to other things, was not really known.
Okay.
Beside the slave trade. And so I wanted to come to Ghana and really just know what Ghana has that makes it special.
So you've just told us that Ghana is gradually coming up. You know, the conversation about Ghana is coming up strongly in Uganda. What are Ugandans talking about as far as Ghana is concerned? Is it the fact that it's a destination for December, for instance? Is it for the food? Is it for the music? What is it? What kind of conversation goes on about Ghana?
I think Ghana is very rich with culture. Ghanaians love their culture. When it comes to food, when it comes to tradition, when it comes to clothes, I love clothes. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, these are the things that makes Ghana very popular in other countries, even
Interesting.
in Uganda. Yeah.
Right. You have quite some Ghanaians in Uganda? Did you encounter any Ghanaian at all?
When I was in Uganda,
Yeah.
2, yes.
2.
Yeah.
Okay. As what? As friends or as teachers? Or as what? Neighbors?
So I had this lady, she was just working there.
Okay.
Her husband was from America, so they moved there.
Okay.
And then I got to meet them.
I see.
And she was from Ghana.
Interesting. Which part of Uganda are you from?
I'm from Kampala, Mutungo.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the closest that rings a bell is the fact that I know it's the capital.
Kampala is the capital.
Yeah.
Just like Ghana,
Okay.
Accra is the capital.
Yeah.
But then when you're in Accra, you could be living in Osu, you
Yes.
could be living in Tamar.
Yes.
So I live in Mutungo. It's still
Okay.
within the city.
Still within the city.
Yeah.
On a typical Sunday like this, what would be the buzz around you? What makes the capital tick on a Sunday like this?
Well, this is interesting. Uganda is a very lively and fun country.
Okay.
Every day is a party. Whether
Is
Sunday,
it?
whether Monday, every day is a party.
How's
We
that?
live a life of party.
How's that?
I don't know. But
So the
that's one-
pubs are full almost every day.
Almost every
the
day.
nightclubs are full almost every day.
almost every day,
Are you
surprisingly.
kidding me now?
I'm serious. You know, like somebody would be going to work on a Monday morning, but then they're gonna be in the club like from evening to maybe late 3, 4, and somebody's gonna wake up
Is
like
it?
early morning to make it to work by 8. Yeah,
And this happens all throughout the week.
yeah.
So you don't have the thank God it's Friday vibe where you're looking forward to the Friday because it goes into the weekend. That feeling or that chilling, as we would say, happens all throughout the week for you in Uganda. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. So for some people maybe like they're so caught up with job, like their work is very hectic, so they don't get to go to the bar, to the club, or go outing often.
Okay.
That thank God is the weekend works well
Works
for them.
Okay.
But for majority of people, they're always hanging out. They're always like somebody could just leave work and they could just pass by the bar and sit there for like maybe 2 or 3 hours before they go home.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that brings me to one of the things I read online about Ugandans being some of the friendliest people in the world. Is that true?
Yeah. We are actually very friendly, just like Ghanaians. But I think Ghanaians are extremely very friendly.
Really?
Yes.
We're friendlier than people from Uganda?
This is really hard.
If you compare the two, okay, so for instance, you're on the streets or a visitor is in the streets of Kampala and it's in distress, okay? Are you likely to see a Ugandan quickly go to their, to assist them if they realize that they're in distress?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. What's your native language?
I mix Munyoro and Luo. So the Munyoros are from the eastern part of Uganda.
Okay.
And the Luo are like from the northern part of Uganda.
Okay.
Yes.
How would you say good afternoon in any of the languages?
I am not very good.
Are you kidding me?
I'm serious, but I can try my mother's language. That's the Luo. So
okay.
Good afternoon. Okay, let me say how are you. So how are you would sound Kopango.
Kopango.
Yes.
That's how are you?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you respond Kope.
Kope.
Kope, I'm fine.
Okay. I see. And that's your mother's tongue?
Yeah.
That's a Luo.
Yes.
Okay. And the other?
And the other, I don't know, but I just know a little bit of Luganda, which is like tree. Everybody speaks that different languages.
Okay.
But when you are in Accra, at least you must know tree.
Okay.
Because it's a common language that people communicate with. So Luganda is the same thing. People come from different tribes, but Luganda is like the main language besides Swahili.
Okay.
Yes. So Ogambachi.
Ogambachi?
Yes.
That's for good afternoon?
Yes.
And you respond by saying?
Jendi.
Jendi.
Yes.
Ah, interesting.
No, Ogambachi is how are you? And then Olyota is like good afternoon.
Oliocha.
Yes.
That's good afternoon.
Yes, in Uganda.
And then you respond by saying what?
It's same as Jendi, Bulunji,
Okay.
Limulunji, I am okay. Oh, yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to Uganda, I should be concerned about knowing a few Luganda words.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And your greetings are very important.
Yes.
And how do I say, can you help me?
In Luganda, that one I'm not sure.
So you get around with a lot of Swahili or English?
I think I get well with English because I have not really been home for like, most of the time I speak English.
When you're home?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and also I come from a family whereby we speak different languages, but English is the main English. I mean, is a main language that we speak at home.
Okay.
So I got comfortable speaking English because of also the work I was doing. So I communicate with people in English most of the time. So I try to learn.
I see.
More of it,
Is this a common thing for most homes in Uganda to have English as the most common language?
Yes, but they also teach their children local language, even in school as well.
Okay.
Depending on the family that you come from. But my family, they speak a lot of different languages. I think it was just me that I was not interested in learning so many languages.
Why is
or
that?
maybe I was just not good at it.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Is it because at home it's not your parents, for instance, do not speak it to you?
They do, but I think I am just not so much interested. I tried learning Spanish in school because I went to an international school, but I was in class for like 3 weeks and I wasn't really catching up properly, so I just decided to leave it.
I see.
But now I'm trying to learn French.
I see.
And I'm not even consistent, but I hope it works out for me.
Okay, well, I was hoping you'd say you're trying to, master your native tongue, but it's fine.
Being in Ghana, I can't even speak Twi properly. So, yeah, it's something that I would love to. Right now, I'm kind of picking up interest in learning languages. Maybe I should start by learning how to speak Twi. Then I can graduate to other languages.
No, I was asking that
because I'm already here.
The experts will tell you that if you master your mother tongue, it's easy for you to pick up other languages. So, hey, you choose how it works for you.
Yes.
So in Ghana, we've got 16 regions, like you know. In Uganda, how's the country divided? Is it in province? Is it in regions? And how many?
It's in regions.
Okay.
And that could be around 50
regions.
Wait, I'm not sure because right now they have added other regions, so I'm not sure. Before, I think it was like 20 something. So I don't know whether it has been combined or it has increased. So I'm not really sure. I can't really tell for that one. Yeah.
Tell me about your family. Is it a large family? Is it a small family? What's a typical Ugandan family? Is it a big one, or is it you like to keep small families?
I can't really speak for others, but I know like some people like to speak. I mean, some people love to keep a big family, large family. I come from a family of 4.
Oh, okay.
But I have extended family, like cousins. So I got to stay with my cousins.
Okay.
So the house was full. We're like so many. So most of the time, I tell people that I come from a very large family because I grew up with my
cousins
with
as
my
well.
cousins. Yeah.
Okay.
So but my family, 2 boys, 2 girls. Typically, like yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How was your upbringing? I mean, what were some of the discipline that was instilled? Typical Ugandan discipline, and were there roles that were assigned because of gender? Do you have the situation where maybe in Uganda men are expected to be raised a certain way, women are expected to be raised in a certain way?
So those days, I would say that a lot of families, especially like in the rural areas, when a girl reaches like 18, she is old enough to get married, so they give you out for marriage. They didn't value like girls' education a lot at that time. They felt like when a girl reaches a certain stage, she is supposed to be married and be a housewife or, be a mother or something. And then boys are supposed to go to school.
Did your parents have that conversation with you as well?
No.
Okay.
I was lucky, I can say that.
Okay.
This didn't even happen in any of my family, extended family or something.
Okay.
But I've seen it happen to
some
other
of your
people.
friends?
not my friends, but some of the people I knew in the community. For me, I was fortunate enough because my dad is a businessman.
Okay.
And I was very inquisitive. And I'm always very curious to know things. So
Okay.
at the age of 6, 7, I could sell with my dad. He could leave me to run a shop, and I knew how to calculate very well.
Oh, is it?
Yes. And with that, I knew a lot of people.
Okay.
And growing up around 12, 13, if my dad is going for business, he could take me along. So I grew up so fast. At the younger age, I was already very smart. I was smarter than my age.
Okay.
So I think that's actually the reason why I'm not afraid to like be somewhere else beside my country
So
and
it means you
explore.
definitely didn't grow up in, a typical traditional Ugandan family,
No.
right?
No.
Your parents were more liberal.
Yeah.
You were quite exposed
Yes.
to other traditions and ways of doing things
Yes.
earlier
Yeah.
than it. But in a typical Ugandan family, what would be some of the morals that governs the family? Are there things that women are not supposed to do? Things that are reserved for only men? Do you know any of these?
Some of the things are women supposed to be. Men are not supposed to cook.
Okay.
They don't teach them how to cook. I think things are now changing. Like they teach their boys how to cook and stuff. But before, learning how to cook should be for women.
Okay.
They should know how to cook, and then the boys, if the family keeps cattle and stuff, they can take care of the cattle. And if you go to farming, if your father or your family owns a big farm, you help your parents with farming and stuff, and then your siblings who are girls stays home and then cook and then do other stuff. That is if they're on holidays, they're not in school.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Interesting. If you just tune in, I'm in the studio with Babarita Sharon. I got that right?
Yeah.
She's from Uganda. She's sharing some very interesting facts and details about her country. I know for a lot of people, when Uganda is mentioned, the first name that comes to mind is Idi Amin.
Of course.
All right? I'm sure you get that a lot. Whenever you mention to someone that you're from Uganda, right?
Yes.
And then they ask about Idi Amin. Let me just ask you, what kind of questions follow, about Idi Amin that you have encountered here in Ghana when people get to know you're from Uganda?
So the surprising stuff is that I was in Ghana first in 2016. 2015, 2016.
Okay.
And then I went back home before I could return back to Ghana again. It was quite surprising because when I was back home, they didn't talk about this Idi Amin. So when people ask me, okay, they don't even ask me. They go straight to tell me, okay, you're from Uganda, Idi Amin country. And they get to tell me stories. So these are the documentary they watch on TV. So, and I get to laugh because they already told me what they know.
Okay.
So even if I tell them what I know, they're already convinced on what they already know that they've watched on TV or documentary.
Tell me what people have watched on TV and you have, gotten to know and you're like, oh, this is way out of what the truth is. Or, this is such a lie. Tell me.
Some other things are they say Ugandans eat human meat. That was a big lie. And they said that Idi Amin was eating people and stuff like that. He never did that.
And you know this from history in school?
No. I know some of his family.
Oh, you know some of his family?
Yes.
Okay.
I think because part of my family, I was a politician and stuff like that. So,
okay.
Yes. There's no fact in it. It's not true. What he did was to help the country because the whites took over the country, and they took over our resources as well. So he did what a good leader should do for his country, to like send them away, and even though he was violent and other things, I heard he was raping girls, and that one I don't know, but I just watched through the documentary that he did all the stuff.
How is his memory perceived in Uganda?
Well, they don't really talk about him a lot in Uganda. The president that has been spoken much about is the Apollo Milton Obote, the one that helped us get our independence. Yeah.
So he's a figure that Ugandans rather would not have a conversation around.
They do.
Okay.
Because he also played a big role in the country.
Right.
Yeah. He really cared about the country, fought for the country, fought for the people as well, despite the fact that he did other stuff. But I don't get to hear those bad stuff that people have been speaking about here in Ghana.
Okay. You don't hear that back home? You don't hear that back home?
No, I don't.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at some of the facts that I found online as well. So I'm told that you have a lot of birds and butterflies as well.
Uganda is a country that it rains a lot. So we have mountains and we have a lot of trees. So if you have a lot of trees, you're gonna have a lot of birds. We have a lot of animals, wild animals, and other animals.
And you get a lot of tourists as well.
Yes.
Wow. That must be a very lucrative area for business as well, right? For the hotels, for the tour guides and all of that.
Yes.
That must make Kampala quite expensive.
Surprisingly, no.
Is it?
Yeah, Kenya is actually more expensive than Kampala.
Is it?
Yes.
Let's do some comparison. Hotel, food, fees to visit tourist sites or national reserves.
It's actually very affordable. First of all, when it comes to food, we actually don't do import a lot.
Okay.
So we farm.
Right.
Majority of the people in Uganda farm. So food is quite cheap in Uganda.
Right.
When it comes to these tourism sites, they're affordable. Yeah. Hotels as well. Because when you go to a tourism site, you find different hotels, because there are also many tourist sites in the country.
Yeah.
So they made sure that they made places affordable for people. Because some people would come to Kenya, and some people from Kenya they proceed to Uganda.
Right.
From Uganda, some of them go to Kenya or South Africa. So I think comparing to these two countries, South Africa and Kenya, Uganda is more affordable.
Relatively cheaper.
Yeah.
Do the locals also find it affordable? I mean, for rent?
Yes.
I see. Were you living in a rented place back home, or your family had your own place?
My family have a place.
They have their own place.
Yeah.
But for people who rent, would you say it's reasonable in Kampala?
Yes, because we pay monthly. We don't get to pay yearly or 2 years like in Ghana.
Oh, okay. You pay monthly.
Yep.
So how much you pay for, say, an average 2-bedroom?
2-bedroom.
Equivalent in either dollar or Ghana city.
A 2-bedroom would be like 7,000 Ugandan shilling or 5,000 Ugandan shilling. That's equivalent to $200.
$200.
Yes.
Basic, regular, not furnished. $200.
Yeah.
Okay. That's more expensive than Accra.
Because of dollar value. Okay.
So Accra is relatively cheaper than Kampala, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait. Could it be 100 or 200? Because like the dollars is actually 300 shilling. But dollar in cities here is like 11 or 10 cities. So the dollar has more value in Ghana than in Uganda shilling.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about where you're from. Do you know any of your festivals? Any of it that you have participated in? Are there customary rites that you're familiar with? I mean, if you were getting married from your side of the world, right? What would be the tradition that your groom-to-be must follow or perform?
So we pay dowry.
Depending
on the family that you're coming from. We pay dowry, we pay cows, and we pay other things like you bring goats.
You pay dowry?
Yeah.
And then you bring some cowries?
So the family lists the things that you're supposed to bring. If you have to bring like 10 cows, 2 goats.
10? 10 of it?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Yes. Some people pay 3, 4.
Okay.
Depending. But of course, to get married, you have to bring cow to marry a lady from Uganda. Yes.
And it runs through all the tribes?
Yes.
It's standard.
It's standard.
It's a number that will vary.
Yes.
But the item, which is the cow,
yes,
is constant. It runs through.
Yes.
I see. So you need to bring you need to pay dowry, you need to bring some cow, you need to bring some goats, some turkey.
Yes.
Some more chickens. Now you might as well go with with all your farm. Sorry. Okay, so that's because most of them are farmers, like you said.
Yes.
So the list of items you're bringing should definitely have some cattle.
Yes.
Some goats.
It doesn't matter if you're paying it in cash or whatever, but
okay,
it's part of the tradition.
It will be listed there.
Yes.
Either you bring it in its natural form or you bring it in cash.
Yes.
So cattle, cow, chickens.
Yes.
And then what? Ducks. Any animal you can find.
Not any animal.
I see.
Yes.
And then what else is likely to be on the list?
You also buy clothes. Okay. We have this gomas, like the tradition where.
Okay, like kente.
Yes.
Okay, it's called what?
Gomas.
Gomas.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's basically it. So maybe you get to buy other things like salt, sugar, cooking oil, and other things. Yeah.
And how does it start and how does it end? The first point of contact is what? Do you also do knocking? The knocking ceremony where you go to the woman's family?
Yes.
Okay.
After the knocking, then when you're ready, they give you the list. Then you do introduction. And then the introduction how do you call it? Introduction, right? So they do the ceremony and then you do the marriage.
Okay.
And then if you're doing the wedding, white weddings. Yeah.
I see. The Ugandan women, are they quite demanding when it comes to paying the bride price and all of that?
I think it's also come to the family. Sometimes it's not the lady, sometimes it's the family that you're coming from. So sometimes, most time, it's the family that is demanding for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the most outrageous thing that you heard was demanded?
Cow.
How many?
15, 20. It also depends, like the level of education that the lady has acquired.
Okay.
Somebody who has gone to the university, has gotten a PhD, is working, has got a lot of things going on, then you're gonna pay a lot.
Oh, so the more educated or enlightened the woman is, the likelihood that the groom to be will have to bring more cows.
Yes.
I see.
Because those things have been funded by the family. So I don't know if it's in terms of appreciation or it is something that it needs to be done. Because growing up, like I had this conversation with my mom, and I told my mom one time, I was like, so when I am ready to get married and my husband cannot afford all the things, and what's gonna happen? And my mom just smiled. I was like, I'm not that kind of family that would demand for things.
Okay.
As long as the person is ready to take care of you, and it can provide for you a life that you want.
Okay.
I don't need to ask him for anything. He should just bring whatever he can to appreciate you. And I actually think that's a good thing to do, because in the long run, I've also worked with different communities, gender-based violence, and like I have noticed that when men pay for bride pride, they feel like they're buying women.
Right.
So they get to misuse women anyhowly because they feel like they own them. I paid for you. I paid all this amount for you. You have to do this for me. You have to do that. And you see a woman in a marriage that she's not happy. She's being mistreated. And sometimes all the stuff that are paid for, probably if she get divorced, the family cannot return it back, because when you get divorced with the person, the amount of cows and everything that the man paid for
you can't return all the...
You have to return it back to the man.
But you've already killed the cattle. You've eaten already. So how do you return it?
Either way, you have to... Might not bring the exactly cow and cattle that they...
But you have to return some money.
You have to return those stuff, so at least the man can marry another woman with that. So if you separate with the person and you have not returned all the things, that means you're still legally married to this person.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
15 cattle or 15 cows. Because I know Ugandan women are quite very well educated.
Yes.
Education is very key. Very, very key in Uganda. I mean, I don't know which Ugandan person I have encountered and they haven't been able to, express themselves and very well. And you can just tell how much, they're enlightened. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's because when you're growing up, it's a must, right? It's a thing that families will ensure that young girls will do. It's not negotiable. If you intend to pursue other professions in the future, you must have a very solid basic education. Is that the case?
Yeah.
Because that's the sense I get with a lot of the Ugandan women I have met. They're very empowered. Is that the case?
Yeah, because
or they just choose to?
No, because as the world is growing and developing, we understand that forcing girls to get married and when they're not ready, they don't want to, it causes problem, because at the end of the day, when a girl didn't go to school and she's forced to get married and she has problems in her marriage and she return home, there's nothing that she's gonna do. She's gonna have kids and she's going to stay with the parents, and the parents have to take care of the kids, and sometimes the parents cannot afford, and it becomes a big problem in the family.
Right.
So to avoid that, at least when a girl is educated, by the time she's ready to get married, if things don't work out in her marriage, she's able to take care of her own family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about jobs? I mean, finding jobs. Is it as accessible as education is?
No.
It's not.
For me, talking about this breaks my heart.
Why?
Why? Because of the government. I would say it's something that is very common in Africa with our leaders and stuff. But I feel ours is becoming extreme. We had a president who has been ruling. We have a president who has been ruling for the last 39 years in power. And the economy is bad. A lot of youth are done with school, but they don't have jobs. And worst of all, there are other things that play the role in that.
Yeah.
Like civil wars that happened left a lot of people, kids didn't go to school. And those one who were able to go to school, they couldn't get a job up to now. So a lot of youth are just home.
And very angry.
And very hungry.
Mm.
They've been
So
fighting.
how do they get by? I mean, like you said, there are lots of young people who come out of school. It's not a situation that is peculiar to Uganda, but like you said, it's worse in Uganda.
Yeah.
So for the young people, how do they survive? I mean, how do they make money, take care of themselves and their families? What do they do for a living?
Some of them, they end up going to technical schools to like learn skills to do other things that handy skills that can help them get money to survive.
And does it fetch money? I mean, if you have a population of young people who can't spend, if you lend the skill, who's going to be buying from you?
Well, depending on what you're doing. Yeah.
Do you find a situation where a lot of Ugandans are leaving the country after some education? I mean, you don't live in Uganda, you live in Ghana. I'm sure the economic reasons may be one of the reasons why you want to, establish yourself outside of Uganda, right? Do you find a lot of young people taking the decision you have taken to leave Uganda and start life elsewhere?
Majority, because if I can say right now, most of my friends are not in Uganda. So if I go home, I'm just gonna be with my family. Majority of my friends are not in the country anymore because the country is tough, and nobody wants to be in a country whereby you're living in your own country, but you're suffering. You're trying to survive. You're not living. You're surviving, and nobody wants that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How's security like back home? You told me earlier that you had worked in radio, in some time past. Are journalists able to express themselves freely?
Yes.
Are they able to, for instance, criticize government and speak up about things that aren't going well? Like, unemployment, like you're talking about.
You can express yourself however way you want to. But if you say certain things, it can be held against you. Because the country, I can say, you can't really trust anyone. I have been one of those youth that have been fighting for, opportunities for young people to make it, whether being in a certain leadership position that will help build them up. I remember in 2020, that was 20 I think 2015.
Okay.
No, 2015 I was in Ghana. 2014. 2013, 2014 I was working with the radio, and I had this one of the member of parliament.
Okay.
I was hosting a talk show, and he came to the talk show, and we had a conversation. At that time was almost approaching to election. The campaign was going on and stuff like that. So he encouraged me because there are so many youth in Uganda. Majority of the people are youth, young people. So when it's time for election, they are targeting these youth to vote for them. So they come up with a lot of projects and stuff like that, putting them in, like trying to make them feel they are important, their voice matters and stuff like that.
Yep.
But they are doing all the things because they just want votes. So this gentleman asked me to write proposal and pick a couple of youth so that we can do something together. So I did that. We got some money, but when people voted for him, that was the end of it. That was the end of it. Like they give youth hopes for things, but at the end of the day, it's not benefiting these youth at the long run.
Okay.
It's a short-term thing that they do
just to win their votes.
Yes. And I've also experienced so much fear.
Fear?
Yes.
In what way?
A lot of young people, when they speak for themselves, or when they reach out to these people, especially these politicians, it's either you're going to be killed or something is going to happen to you. Because in the country, it's easy to access gun.
To access a gun?
Yeah.
In Uganda?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So there's so many.
Is that because it's not properly regulated, and so people can easily, have access to guns?
It's properly regulated, but the thing too, a lot of people went to the army and being military and stuff like that. So when you're a military person, you get to have a gun, and there are other means too that you get to have a gun. So.
Have you ever been threatened, or do journalists get threatened with guns in Uganda?
Not just being threatened by a gun, but other threats that can, it's not that your family is going to get away with it. If it's you, it's going to be you and the family. Yeah.
So essentially, there's not a lot of press freedom for journalists in Uganda.
It is,
because
but
of
you have
fear and intimidation.
It is, but then you just have to be very mindful of what you say out. Because everything you say, it's recorded, it's captured. The world is, modernized. So,
in other words, there's freedom of speech, but you're not guaranteed what you say after you have
after you've spoken
speech. Okay. All right, I'm gonna come back to you and we're gonna have some more conversation, this time about fashion. I know it's an area you really, really love to talk about. And then we'll dig into food and maybe a bit more about music as well.
Sure.
Okay? But we're crossing over to Kenya. I've got Boniface Nyanga wearing a really nice colored hat there. Let's cross over. Let me see if I can sort this out. Bonnie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
What's the color of a hat you're wearing? Is it red and yellow?
It's yellow and red. They call it the Delta hat.
It's called the Delta hat.
State. Yes, in Nigeria, the Ogas in the Delta state, these are the kind of hats they wear.
I see. School me, because I don't know. It looks good on you, though.
Thank you.
You always have something fancy to wear, very stylish Boniface Nyanga. Good to see you again. I mean, it's been a while. I've been away for a couple of weeks. I have missed you greatly.
Yes.
I hope you've been well.
Yeah. I've been well, thanking God for everything.
Yeah.
And say hi to Babarita, my neighbor from Uganda.
Hi.
So let me just ask, before we even dig into what's happening on ENT, so if you met a Ugandan person, what would be the greetings that you would exchange? Is there a Swahili greeting? Is there anything that's common by way of greeting?
They don't speak a lot of Swahili, so would probably say hi.
What a shame. Anyways, but have you been to Uganda a couple of times yourself?
No, I've actually never been to Uganda.
Okay.
I've never been to Uganda. I've been to Tanzania. I've been planning to go to Uganda.
Okay.
I've been at the border, but never crossed in. That's great matoke there.
Anyways, well, let's dig in now. What's been happening on the continent?
It's interesting. We're actually starting out in Uganda because the annual Nyege Nyege Festival kicked off on Thursday and has been running until today. And it's been quite a festival. It's one of the most popular festivals. It's been surrounded by some interesting controversy because the Jinja city authorities have temporarily shut down 2 schools for being in close proximity to the venues of Nyege Nyege Festival, because there were fears that kids would be exposed to immorality and also the noise, and the kids down there are in the middle of their school year, so they were a bit afraid that they would be interrupted. And also, the US government put a terror alert for citizens not to attend the festival due to fears of attack. But the president was very, very firm in reassuring and saying and advising partygoers to just go, but also keep in mind that the security threats to the country, and um, reassuring on the other hand that security forces have intensified their operations and they'll be safe. All in all, great performances have been delivered on East Africa's premier destination music festival that attracts thousands of tourists to the sleepy town of Jinja in Uganda everywhere. And to be honest, the festival is a benchmark for how music can be used to drive tourism.
Interesting. I'm sure that Babarita may be able to give us some more information about Nyege Nyege Festival. Is it an annual festival? Do you know about
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a music festival.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happens in Ginger
All
every
right.
year. And
Have
it's
you,
very interesting.
have you been there?
Yes. Once.
Okay. Interesting.
Like brings a lot of people from different countries across the world.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice one. Do you get any Ghanaians performing, any Ghanaian artists performing ever?
At that time there were only the Nigerians that came.
Nigerian artists. Okay.
Yeah, but right now, like, I think Ghanaians are going because it's been a while that I've been home. So
Right.
yeah.
Right, possibly. All right, Bonnie, let's go to South Africa. What's the scoop there?
The South African rapper has encouraged men to pursue in-depth relationships with women, and not just these things. In a departure from his playboy persona, he posted on his Instagram and this is what he said, that in my experience, what I've learned about relationship with sex and our relationship with women that we meet, we lose out on a lot of beautiful experiences, a lot of beautiful friendships because we want to have sex with the very attractive women we met. He went on to add that men don't know what they lose out on in the pursuit of sexual pleasure. He then shared that he thought he had been ghosted by a woman he'd recently met with whom he wanted a sexual relationship, and reached out to him a short while. I recently faced a challenge in my life, and she reached out to me after looking at certain status I put up, and she's been helpful in me navigating through what I've been going through. And I just thought the fact that when I meet this lady, I really thought she's hot, but I just wanted to get into her pants. But little did I know that God was sending me a vessel, an angel, someone to help me navigate through this. And this was similar sentiments that were shared by Nigerian American singer rapper Jenna Dina, who admitted robbing some women of their baby making years. Speaking in the first episode of Underneath Masculinity, the classic man crooner admitted to stealing, the baby making age of a lot of women, and say, this is what he said: I robbed some women of their baby making years, dragging them along. They built me up. Look at where I am now, and look at them. And so it's interesting. Some of these guys who have this, playboy persona coming up and saying, you know what, guys, we really need to maybe look more in depth in the relationships that we create with the women in our lives.
I'm sure the women are cursing him wherever he is. Anyway, so let's go to Nigeria, and Yemi Alade is getting a lot of pressure to settle down.
Yeah, today it looks like we are discussing a lot of relationship things with our African celebrities.
I know, right?
It's that kind of week, huh?
I know.
So yes, Nigeria's singer and songwriter Yemi Ebirechi Alade has shared her frustration about societal pressures regarding her marital status. The award-winning artist revealed this, that she constantly faces pressure from family, friends to get married and have children. Despite the widespread rumors of her marriage to her manager, the crooner, who is also an actress, subtly clarified her relationship status by stating that when it's the right time, it will happen. So what she said is people often get married, especially towards the end of the year. I'm not feeling pressured. When the time is right, it will happen. This, she said during an interview with Cool FM, where she said family pressure is challenging thing to resist because it's coming from the people I respect and look up to, insisting that I should get married. However, I believe that if they genuinely have my best interest at heart, they'll be patient with me because finding the right partner is more crucial than just getting married.
Absolutely.
But beyond that, I don't think anyone should rush into making the wrong decision of being with the wrong partner. She emphasized the importance of finding the right partner and urged others not to rush into making the wrong decision.
She makes a lot of points. She makes a lot of point there. I mean, it's very, very, very important finding, like she says, the right
Especially those
partner.
aunties. Those aunties who whenever you're at a family gathering, there's a post I once saw.
Yeah.
This lady had a lot of these aunties who are always, whenever they meet at a gathering, they're like, when is your wedding? When is your wedding? When is your wedding? So
Boniface, why do you take this so personal? Can you relate? I see the emotions on your face. Is that something we need to know?
Yeah, I felt it. I felt that pressure of really getting married. So you know what this lady did? Every time when these aunties would ask, when is your wedding? She'd ask them, and when is your funeral?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good reply.
It's there. We all feel it. Because I'm quite a senior bachelor myself. So I felt that pressure, that family pressure. But at the end of the day, it's African culture. We all want that thing. But then again, when you look at the rate of divorces that are out there, and I've seen some of my friends who got pressured into getting married when they were not ready, and right now they are in their third marriage and 5 baby mamas. So I'm like, you know what? I really agree with Yemi. Take your time, and it's a long-term, commitment.
Absolutely.
It's a lifelong commitment that you're making. And at the end of the day, you'll be locked in that house with that woman or with that man on your own.
Yes. Without the aunties and uncles.
Yeah, exactly. So take your time, find the right person, and also get into the right situation which you are comfortable with, and you'll enjoy.
I agree.
And also when you're ready for it.
Yes, in your own time. Boniface, thank you so much for joining us this Sunday with the updates. When you do find the right person and all is set, make sure we don't miss the invitation to the ceremony.
You will be the first one.
Yeah, man.
Then you can finally come to Kenya.
Yes, I can finally come there for a reason.
And then you can outshine all my Kenyan relatives.
You bet I will. You bet I will. All right, Boniface. Catch you next week Sunday and have a great week.
Thank you.
All right. So that's Boniface Nyanga. He joins us every Sunday from Kenya, sharing the scoop on what's happening on the continent as far as entertainment is concerned. We've got to be wrapping up our conversation with Babarita in the studio. He really got you smiling, right?
Yes.
Do you also get that pressure too?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. And when you do make that decision, is it gonna be a Ugandan man or a Kenyan guy?
That one I can't really tell. I don't know.
You can't really tell.
Yeah.
Okay. What are Ugandan guys like? Are they hardworking? Do they spoil women? Are they stingy?
Oh, I don't know because I didn't really date.
Okay.
I did, but I was young, so it wasn't something serious. So I don't really know. But it also depends on the person. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have a fair idea what Ugandan guys are like.
Unless something that I have heard from other people experience, and I don't like to talk about.
And what do you hear? What do you hear from other people?
Some of them are great.
Okay.
I think it's just
an individual thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't really speak because I can say, okay, Ugandan guys treat people well, not knowing somebody somewhere is complaining, so I don't really know what to say.
It's a one-on-one thing.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Let's talk about food. What's your favorite Ugandan meal?
Matoke.
What is that?
Matoke is it's like plantain. It's green. It doesn't get ripe. So you just boil it, and then you put in the banana leaves.
In the banana leaves.
Yes. So you put in the banana leaves. You boil it. So it gets ripe. So when it's ripe, when it's ready, you mash it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you eat it with soup. That could be
when you say you mash it, not pounding, but you mash.
You don't pound it.
So it's not like our fufu.
No.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually within 15 minutes it's ready. So remember, it's covered in banana leaves.
Yeah.
So you take it off. Sometimes when it's ready, there's some water. So you drain the water. You carry it with the banana leaves. You put it down, whether on the tree or something. You mash it.
And then you mash it.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. Do you know eto?
No.
Like in Ghana?
No.
You've never seen eto?
No.
Okay. Because it sounds a bit like eto. You know, where you sort of mash, you mash the
food
the
is
plantain,
for
put
what,
some palm
what
oil
tribe?
on it, or well, predominantly the Akans do it, but also the Gans have it done with yam. Okay, that's the festive dish. That's the kwekwe.
Wait, which one is potom potom?
So in potom poto is that's done with, it can be done with cocoyam, and it can be done with yam. Okay,
Yep.
so you cut up your cocoyam. Some would want to put the fresh tomatoes, onion, pepper, kobe, which is the salted
Yep.
fish. Bring it to a boil, and then take out the tomatoes, mash it with the onion and the pepper, and pour it back. And then of course your kobe will give the flavor. And some will take some of the cocoyam out, mash it a little bit to thicken the mixture, and then pour palm oil on it. You can use the same procedure also with, use with yam.
Okay.
So that's in potom poto.
I tried it. It's nice.
Yes, it is very
Yeah,
nice.
very
it's one of my
nice.
favorites.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Do you have that in Uganda as well?
No, we don't.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah.
Okay. But for yours, you just boil the
Yeah.
the unripe plantain, you mash it, and you eat it with soup.
With soup
Oh,
or
okay.
granite. There's
The
a way.
paste?
It's not a paste.
Or granite soup.
It's not a soup. So so the granite you don't fry it.
What do you do with it?
So it's a raw one that has been grinded. It's powdered.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't boil, you don't ground, you don't roast it?
You don't roast it. So what we do, you cook it after when it's grinded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you cook the granite.
Yeah.
And then you grind it.
You don't grind it.
What do you do with it?
So the granite is already like, let's say when you go to the farm, you harvest your
granite.
with granite, you dry it. So after drying it, some people fry it and then you go and grind it as paste. Or so when you grind this one, when you're gonna grind it, you don't fry it.
Right.
You just grind it and then you cook it and then eat it with the
plantain.
matoke.
I see.
The
with some
plantain
meat.
is different. We also have plantain, but it's not common in Uganda.
So what is matoke made out of? I thought you said it was unripe
It's a
plantain.
plant. It's a plant, but it's like plantain.
But it's not plantain.
It's not plantain.
And it's not banana.
It's not banana.
Wow, I don't think I've seen that.
It's not here.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
in Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you get matoke to eat here? Are there restaurants
Never.
that cook it?
I don't even know if I've gone to like restaurant that cook local foods for different countries, but I've not found the Ugandan restaurant here.
I see. You
Yeah.
must be very starved.
I know, right? I have.
I see.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make you miss home?
I do miss home a
You do
lot.
miss home?
Yeah.
Okay.
So another favorite food I like is vegetables.
Okay.
We have a lot of we have variety of vegetables.
More than we do?
Yes.
Okay.
And we actually have contemporary.
Oh, you
but
do?
we cook it differently.
How?
So I didn't know it was contemporary, but then after I saw the leaves.
Contemporary.
Contemporary.
Mre.
Contemporary.
There's no B.
Yeah. It's actually my favorite in Ghana.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. We cook it different
How?
in Uganda. We cook it. We mix it with this the same what's it called, the granite.
Okay.
We can also
you
cook
add some
with it.
granite to it.
Yes.
Okay, and you mash it together.
You boil it and then when it's ready, you cannot mix it. People cook it differently. Some of them just fry it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
We have different vegetables. Some of them I don't know the English name.
The
for
English
them.
names. Do we have anything in common at all? Ghana and Uganda? Anything at all?
Cassava.
Cassava.
Sweet potatoes. Irish potatoes. corn.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we do eat posho, which is ugali, and which is pap in South Africa. Ugali is Kenyan, and then posho is Uganda. So it's like akpele.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
but our powder is a bit whiter and softer. Akpele is a bit like it's not too soft. And yeah, but the procedures of making it the same.
It's about the same.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, we've got to be wrapping up. I wish we had some more time because there's still so much to talk about. When next are you going home?
I was thinking of this December. I'm not sure, but probably next year.
Next year.
Because I've got things to do to take care of.
Back home.
Here.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
When you're going back home, do you carry any fashion material items here to sell?
I have a
Cloth,
shop in
what-
Uganda.
Oh, you do have a shop there?
Yes, so
Okay.
my mom runs a shop. I sell fabrics, bags, and other stuff, and most of those things are from Ghana.
Okay.
So I usually like to carry a lot of African stuff, Ghanaian stuff. Yeah.
And what's patronage like?
It's good. People love Ghanaian fabrics. They love it. It's
Okay.
original. It's good. The texture, the colors, it's good.
I see.
Yeah.
You're doing good business.
Yes.
Okay. Babarita, thank you so much. Is there any particular artist you want to hear from as we wrap up the show? It can be a Ugandan artist. It can be a Ghanaian artist.
It's been a while that Ghanaian artists was taken over for me, but I would love to hear Bobby Wine from Uganda.
Bobby Wine. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure Abiam will fix that for you.
Any of his songs.
Any of his songs.
That man is my guy. Like, he's doing a
Okay.
great job, for the youth in Uganda.
Yeah.
Is great. And for me, I am that kind of person that love to speak for the youth, speak out, and I don't really care.
Yeah.
And he's that kind of person. He doesn't care about losing his life for his people, making sure that things are done in the right way.
Yeah.
And I think that is what needs to be done. As people, we don't need to care about you're going to be killed or something's going to happen to you. Stand for your people, stand for yourself, and make sure that your voices
It's
are
heard.
heard. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. We'll drop that for you definitely before we wrap up today.